Welcome to Films and Stuff with your hosts, Pete Mitchell and Ethan Hunt.
All right, Films and Stuff. I'm Ethan here with Pete. Pete, how are you today?
I am great, Ethan. How are you?
Good. Although I have to say, given the subject matter of the show we're going to be reviewing today, I'm a little bit somber. It's a serious series finale of Blackbird on Apple TV Plus.
Little creepy. Little creepy.
Very creepy. So we've seen, this is the last of 6, correct?
Correct. And the series is over. It's a mini series. The story is done with.
Do you think I should summarize then?
Yes,
no more
please.
spoilers. Shall I summarize?
I think you should. And, I think you should say spoilers because that's what we're kind of known for, right?
Here we are.
All right.
So our protagonist, Jimmy, who has been transferred to maximum security prison in order to elicit a detailed confession from Larry, a potential serial murderer of young girls. In the last episode, Jimmy seems to get Larry to confess and gives quite a lot of details in terms of how he killed at least one young girl. This episode begins with Larry recanting and saying, hey, he just tells stories. And Jimmy pretty cleverly kind of says, yeah, of course, because you're just a liar. I don't believe anything you say. And Larry then starts to want to prove that, in fact, he was telling the truth and that, in fact, he did kill these girls. So he snaps a bit, confesses once again, and even draws a map showing the location of 21 bodies. Before Jimmy can do anything with that, he's thrown into solitary confinement. And then the end of this episode goes kind of fast, where his prison-appointed psychologist appears out of nowhere and gets him out. And then Agent Macaulay shows up and kind of gets talking to Jimmy. Jimmy recreates the map. We fast forward to a courtroom where Larry's appeal or release is rejected. And then we see a few things kind of in the closing credits. Jimmy now has a new life as a consultant. He gets to see his father before his father passes away from a heart attack. And Larry, of course, spends the rest of his life in jail. So that's Blackbird in a nutshell. What's your rating of this miniseries?
Oh, I think it's a must subscribe.
Oh, really?
I really, really liked it. Yeah.
I am at a mooch. Tell me what you like about it. Does the subject matter bring you down at all? I mean, this is about a serial killer of young girls, right? It's a little bit not an optimistic one.
So let me tell you what I really like. So in general, true crime isn't my bag. That's not to say they aren't enjoyable to watch, but I think in this format, I think true crime comes off better as like a movie than it does as a serialized, whether it's a TV show or a podcast or whatever. And generally speaking, that's because in this, and this is me thinking a little more cynically and thinking, outside of the actual subject matter, in the quest for content, a story that could be told in an hour, people try to stretch it out into 5 hours so that you have 5 episodes or 10 episodes, right? And that's how you build quote unquote content for, be it Spotify, Netflix, any of the streaming platforms, any of the podcast platforms, whatever it is. True crime especially, A, it's interesting because you get a lot of people who are interested in true crimes. And B, you want to learn how those people were caught, if they were caught at all. And when you have something that's something that's taken too long to get to the point, it's kind of like, okay, I lose interest very quickly. And I think that's the same problem I had with Candy, for example. And we spoke about that earlier. And I think that's the same problem I would have had with The Staircase.
Yeah.
And whereas this, And this, I would have normally said exactly the same thing. But what I like about that was because the guy who played Larry, Paul Hauser, is so creepy.
So creepy.
And I do mean that in the best way possible. I don't mean this to be derogatory or negative in any way, shape, or form, because he does a phenomenal job of portraying an incredibly creepy, somewhat mentally unstable guy. That you need that 1 hour, you need it to be serialized, because if I were to watch this over a 2 hour, 3 hour long movie, I would have lost my mind. I think it would have been too much. Because it's slightly slower paced and because it's quite deliberate, I like that it was over just 5 episodes or 6 episodes. I like that it was serialized, and I really like that Apple said, listen, this is it. We've made our 6 episodes. We're done.
I hear you. I mean, in terms of the quality of the show, it is really second to none. I mean, if everyone in the show received some type of award, it would not be a surprise. It would be absolutely, absolutely well earned.
Yeah.
For me, it's a mooch for 2 reasons. One, the subject matter, again, it brings me down a little bit. It's about a serial killer. So, I mean, there's nothing really funny about it. There's nothing really like, you don't learn anything good about it, right? I mean, it's just a tough subject matter. And the second one is that you kind of know how this is going to end. You've got Jimmy, who's sent into a prison to try to get a confession from a murderer. Yes, there's some kind of twists and turns, but you kind of know just from that plot how it's going to end up, right? And to me, if your time is at a premium, I would suggest watching something that's a little bit more uplifting, inspires a little bit more creativity. And to be honest, you can't guess from the beginning how it's going to end. But that's not a quality argument. That's just a subject matter argument. And that's why I think it's a mooch. But absolutely, if you love this true crime stuff, if you really are a sucker for prison-based dramas, it's exceptionally well acted and planned out. But for me, the subject matter is just not super enjoyable to slog through. That's my only criticism, really. But this is the wheelhouse. I have to say, we need another episode in terms of, the platforms. In terms of Apple TV Plus, this is a very good show. It's not too long. Like you said, 6 episodes is enough to binge. It doesn't really screw you up all night long. You can do it in an evening or 2 evenings. You can do it in a week if you want to watch one an evening. It doesn't drag on too long. They get to the point, pretty quick. It's not terribly expensive to make. Almost all of it takes place in a field or in a prison cell, right? So just in terms of the sets, it's not too expensive. And obviously the main characters were just Paul Walter Hauser is almost too creepy, as playing Larry Hall. Honestly, yeah. He's so good. I'm not sure how he even gets any sleep, because he's so good playing a serial killer that it's pretty creepy. So that's my take on it. That's why I think it's a mooch, but absolutely it is well produced. And if it's your genre, you will not be disappointed.
Absolutely. I fully agree. I just think it's slightly better. And again, for people who do want to watch it, I will caveat by saying, listen, it would be tempting to binge this, but it's, as Ethan rightly pointed out, it is dark. It is a dark in terms of material, and dark in terms of subject matter, and certainly dark in terms of, portrayal of what you would expect to be a sociopath, right? Or even a psychopath. In any case, it's a subscribe from me. It's a mooch for Ethan.
Yep.
And let's quickly transition to bigger and better things.
Let's talk about what's next. What is the next thing that we need to start watching. I mean, you highlighted a few trailers, and we've watched each of those trailers. You want to go through these one by one and let's give our thoughts and impressions?
I did. So I think, the point of this was, so, Ethan and I, we get inundated with, trailer recommendations from the YouTube algorithm, from our friends, from our family. They say, hey, do you guys want to watch this? Is this something you guys are going to see? And now that For All Mankind is on the verge of wrapping up for the season, and most of the more exciting shows that we were looking forward to are kind of dwindling. And in terms of the movies, I think there may be a handful of movies left on this year's release schedule that either of us are particularly excited about watching. I thought it would be a good idea to just go through, let's say, 3 to 5 trailers that looked interesting to me.
You are right.
We can just quickly talk about them. So I think, and again, so most of these are streaming either movies or shows. What's interesting about those in particular that I really like is because they show up on these streaming platforms, typically speaking, we don't hear about them until they're almost on top of us, which is kind of nice. They're like, they're like little surprises. So the first one we want to talk about is Samaritan.
So this is Sylvester Stallone, someone we haven't seen in quite some time, huh?
That's right.
And he's playing, from what I get from this trailer, and this is going to be on Amazon Prime.
Correct.
He is playing a superhero who's kind of retired in old age, and his neighborhood kid finds him out and basically convinces him to get back into the game, right?
That's right. That's exactly right. So I'm quite intrigued by this only because it's not your typical or stereotypical superhero movie, at least on premise, but I'm certain it will very quickly devolve into your stereotypical superhero movie. And it's just interesting. I thought it was interesting only for 2 reasons. One, I literally heard about it 3-4 days ago, and it's coming out this month. Apparently it was filmed pre-pandemic time, but was delayed for whatever reason, only for it to be released on Amazon Prime anyway. And the second thing is, this is something, I haven't seen Stallone in a lot of movies in a long time. So I thought it would be intriguing to see what he's up to. I think the last movie I probably saw him in was, I don't even know. Maybe The Expendables? Creed. I saw him in Creed.
There's a Rambo. Yeah, there's something called Escape Plan. There's Creed 2. Yeah, looks like... Was he in Guardians of the Galaxy?
He was, yeah. He's one of the leaders of the Ravagers.
Yeah, I mean, we haven't seen him really, really, really prominently in quite some time.
And actually he's he's accusing the producers of the Rocky franchise of fraud or malpractice or malfeasance.
I've heard this. Not sure about the details. So what's your level? You watched the trailer for Samaritan.
I did.
What's your level of excitement or enthusiasm for this?
For the movie, not very high. Just to see Sylvester Stallone back in the action, a little higher. And the only reason I actually want to see this and to see how that's going is with this transition into his TV series, which is coming up, Tulsa King.
Yeah.
Which is we're going to talk about. That to me is much more interesting. And that's the only reason that this is even on the list right now. I actually don't think the Samaritan's going to be a great movie, but I think that it's just kind of him getting back into the swing of things because I expect Tulsa King to be very good.
So I have to say, I mean, my expectation for Samaritan is a mooch at best.
At best. I agree.
The only element I kind of like, and this stems from maybe from The Boys, which is also on Amazon Prime. I like the idea of something about superheroes that shows kind of when they're not in their prime, so to speak, right?
Yeah.
And The Boys shows really like the attitude of superheroes and if they behave badly. And the only element of Samaritan I think is interesting, which is it's true. Like, are superheroes ageless? Like, does Superman, we know Spider-Man is aging, right? Superman, does he age? Batman, we know, is ages, right? It's kind of interesting to see a superhero take on a guy who's like, yeah, like, even superheroes age. I'm not at my peak forever. There's a time to kind of fabricate my death and just, stand back and get out of the way, right?
Yeah.
So I like that element of it, but I mean, nothing about this trailer I thought was like particularly interesting. It's going to be a lot of Stallone action. He'll kick some ass, and that's about it.
Yeah.
So I'd say it's probably a mooch.
Yeah.
So that takes us into the second trailer, and all props to Pete. He identified these. Tulsa King on Paramount Plus, also starring Sylvester Stallone.
Exactly. And
this is a series,
and maybe more importantly, created by the same guys who did Yellowstone.
Oh.
So that gives me a little bit more hope, because it's also set in a city or in a town that's maybe not exactly the most metropolitan as compared to, any of the big West Coast or East Coast cities. It's a little bit of a quieter life. It's also a little bit about the underworld and the mafia. So I have higher hopes for this.
Can I say, the way you describe it, I think is very optimistic, because the trailer is short.
Yeah.
And
it's a teaser at best.
It's a teaser at best. And I have to say, there's really nothing about the teaser that's really that interesting. I mean, apart from the fact that it's Stallone, which is a big name, there's nothing really in here that got me excited. It's a little bit of like he's kind of strangling or punching someone, and he says something like a little bit witty. But I have to say, in terms of a teaser, I mean, the point of a teaser is just to give someone a taste and to try to like pique their interest, right?
Yeah.
Did it do it for you?
It did for me, yeah.
Really?
Yeah, only because I think I'm, and this is on me, not on anyone else, but like I maybe am reading a little bit too much into it. Yeah. But I like the idea of a big city gangster who works for the mafia being like relegated or to a smaller city, kind of like being sent from the majors to the minors. And then he kind of has to get things right in that smaller city, maybe whether it's a test of his allegiance or a test of his abilities. And, it's interesting for me. Is
Tulsa the right city? Because Tulsa has a lot of historical significance to it, right? Is Tulsa the right city for that?
Anything about Tulsa. That's the thing. That's the thing I like about it. And when you think of big time American TV series, you think of the New Yorks, the Bostons, the Los Angeleses, the San Franciscos. You rarely think of these quote unquote middle America or and I don't mean this derogatorily, but like, these quote unquote flyover state kind of places. It's the same reason, for example, I liked Ozark or Albuquerque in Breaking Bad and Better Call Saul. Yeah. It's the quote unquote small town element also makes things a little bit more exciting.
Yeah, I don't doubt that. I have to say, I didn't find anything compelling about this.
Okay.
Maybe if there's a second I mean, the trailer, they call it a trailer. It's 31 seconds, right?
It's a teaser. At best, it's a teaser.
Yeah, I think I need to see more to be convinced. But right now, it's not piquing anything in me.
Okay. Well, then why don't we move on to the next one, which I think will pique your interest.
Oh, is this Mike?
It's Mike.
So Hulu, which I just watched The Dropout about Theranos on Hulu. Now Hulu is doing Mike Tyson biopic. Who is starring as Mike Tyson in here?
Trevante Rhodes.
Is he in anything I know?
The name
he does kind of look like Mike,
but he certainly. Oh yeah, he definitely looks like him.
Moonlight, Predator, Bird Box. Yeah. Are you excited about this? Tell me your thoughts.
I am, because I like biopics, and I certainly like biopics about sports figures. Whether it's a team or an individual, I'm a fan.
Yeah, I agree. I would say this will be maybe not a subscribe, but this will definitely be something I would actively mooch. But I'll keep an open mind. I'm probably more excited for this than I am for Tulsa King and for Samaritan. So I'd say right now, Mike is probably the highest on my list. And Mike Tyson is very, very high profile. I have to say, I can't fault Hulu for that at all. That's absolutely the right person.
Outside of maybe Muhammad Ali, it's very rare to see boxing personas get any kind of biopic.
Yeah, that's true. There's really only, apart from Muhammad Ali, Mike Tyson is really the only other person.
He's the next big name, right?
Yeah, you're right. So when is this coming out?
At the end of this
premieres
month.
August? Yeah, end of August. Okay. So anyway, that's Hulu. That's Mike. Now we get to the trailer that I watched twice.
Oh,
twice.
Wait a minute. Which trailer did you watch twice?
Andor.
Oh, okay.
Disney Plus, Star Wars. Tell me all about it, Pete. Tell me all about it. I'm so excited about this.
Andor is based on Cassian Andor, who we last saw in Rogue One. Quite possibly the best spin-off Star Wars movie
so far.
The franchise.
Yeah.
And it's his story. It's about, presumably, I don't know anything about it, but based on this trailer, it's presumably about his childhood, about him becoming a rebel, about him joining the rebels and, becoming like this spy and undergoing all these acts of espionage until what we see in Rogue One. That's what I believe the story is about.
So this is pre-Rogue One.
Yeah. So in terms of timeline, this is between episodes 3 and episodes 4 of the Star Wars movies.
Okay.
And because remember, Rogue One takes place almost immediately before episode 4.
Yeah, A New Hope.
And
yes.
This would be, I take that back. This is likely during episodes 1 and 3. So between episodes 1 and 4. Because we see Andor as a young child as well. So presumably this is when we're talking episode 1, 2, through to Rogue One.
Yeah. So what's do we know anything about Andor's? I mean, this story is going to tell us about it, right?
Exactly. I don't know anything, but I think
it looks amazing.
Yeah.
Do you agree?
Think on one side, we're going to see slightly a little bit more about the Senate and the political aspect of the Empire versus the Rebel Alliance. And then on the other side, we're going to see the actual operations of the Rebel Alliance.
So when we talk about our rating system, Pete, right? There's skip, there's mooch, there's subscribe. For me, Andor defines a series. Is it a series or a movie?
This is a series. Yeah, I think the first 3 episodes come out in September.
Yeah. This defines to me what a subscribe is, which is if I did not have Disney Plus and they said, hey, Andor's coming out in September, but you have to, if you want to watch it, you have to subscribe now. I would subscribe.
Yeah.
That's how good Andor is to me. Maybe it won't be good. Maybe it'll be a disappointment. But for me, this is exactly what I think we mean when we talk about a must subscribe. It's like, I'm not waiting. I'm not going to borrow my sister's password. I'm not going to wait for it to come out. I'm going to subscribe now because I'm so excited to see it. This is exactly what I mean for a show like this.
Yeah. I'm going to hold off on that. I want it to be a must subscribe, but I am telling you right now, I am going to literally tear off the table from my desk and flip it if any Skywalkers are mentioned or shown. I do not want to see Leia. I do not want to see Luke.
Agree. I
do not want to see anyone that we know. I just want to see Mon Mothma. I am happy to see Jimmy Smits as a senator, and that's it. I do not want to see anyone else.
Is there any reason that you have to believe that any Skywalker will be in this?
I don't trust Kathleen Kennedy and I don't trust Lucasfilms. I just don't trust them. I think they cannot help themselves. I think the only one who's shown any real restraint has been Jon Favreau and Dave Filoni. And even them, I worry. Look, I'm going to give them the benefit of the doubt. I'm with you on paper. This could be very interesting. It could be very good because again, and I only go back to say again because I really liked Rogue One. I thought Rogue One was the perfect way to do a Star Wars movie without it being about Star Wars.
I agree. I absolutely agree. But from watching this trailer, I also felt the same thing, which is if I just watched the trailer, not even knowing, I'd be like, that's Star Wars. Yep. You see the Dreadnought fly overhead. You see some X-Wings. It gives you the idea that this is a Star Wars movie. But again, I mean, there's no characters really that I know. That it's the right way to do it.
Andor,
Mon Mothma, yes.
Mon Mothma. We might see the Mon Calamari. It's the trap guy, Admiral Akbar.
Yeah,
I like that. That to me is awesome. For me, this is great. You get a little bit of color on the Rebel Alliance.
And the uniforms. I'd have to say also the uniforms, right? You can tell I think there's a stormtrooper that I saw as well. So I could tell it was a Star Wars film, but nothing really about it screams Skywalker. So I'm with you. I also am hoping that...
That's it. That's the only reason is I just have, especially after what we saw in Obi-Wan, just kind of listen, just let Luke and Leia go. They had 6 movies. Let them go. Just let them rest in peace. Let their stories be the way they are. We don't need to keep adding to that mythos. Unnecessary.
The thing that you have in your favor is that there's no more Carrie Fisher, right? I mean, they would really have to entirely recreate her.
Yeah, but you know what? They are not afraid to do it.
Yikes.
They would not be afraid to do it. They CGI'd her face for Rogue One. And why I know they wouldn't be, why I'm worried is because if this timeline is alongside the rise of Andor towards Rogue One, that's also the same time as the rise of Leia as a senator.
Yeah.
And if this is going to have any political intrigue in it, that means Leia could theoretically be in it. Canonically, she would be. I don't want to see her. I just don't want to see her. And again, not because I don't like Leia. I love Leia. In fact, that's precisely why I don't want to see her. I don't want to see Luke. I don't want to see Leia. I don't want to see any of them. I just want to see the rebels. Anyway, look, that's my rant.
Okay. Well, I'm excited about Andor. For me, already it's a must subscribe. I hope it meets my expectations.
Me too. I really do too.
And what is the last... You're going to have to pronounce this. What is the last trailer you suggested?
So the last one is just a throwaway. It's the Banshees of Inisherin or Inisherin. I don't know how to pronounce it.
Very Irish.
Yeah. It is Irish. The only reason is it's got 2 amazing actors in Colin Farrell and Brendan Gleeson in it, who we last saw together in Bruges. The film is written by the same writers who wrote In Bruges and by 3 Billboards in Ebbing, Missouri, which was also a great movie. So just on that basis alone, I think it's going to be great. It's a small, low-budget, low-key movie. It's not, bombastic in any way, shape, or form. It looks like it could be poised to be one of those, Academy-nominated
it's going to win something.
Yeah.
I mean, I would also say that it looks exceptional, but I'm not that excited about it.
Oh, I mean, no, this is the thing. This I just put in there as something that we should be watching because it could be a great movie, but I don't think it's not on our normal wheelhouse.
No, I agree. I would expect that this is going to win some award or at least be nominated for awards.
Yeah,
it's hard
it should
to say
be
who
in consideration.
Wins. Yeah, it will be consideration for being nominated, and I'm sure what I saw, the acting is going to be exceptional. It also seems like a very dialogue, drama heavy
slightly comedic, and in the Irish
Yeah.
sensibility, which is not to say it's slapstick humor. It's like dark humor, slightly slow humor. So I think it'll be a good movie. I just don't think that it'll be something that you and I would normally watch. That's why I put it on here.
Yeah. This would be kind of one of those things, like this is absolutely something you could have in the background. Might be something you watch on an airplane. It's not kind of like a gotta go to the cinema, see this on the big screen type of popcorn movie, right?
This is like the definition of the perfect like small screen big movie.
Yeah. On that note, speaking of big screen, are you going to see Bullet Train with Brad Pitt?
I really wanted to watch it, but I wasn't able to make time for it. I will try to go watch it this week.
What's your level of enthusiasm for this?
Quite high.
Really?
Because it looks like it's going to be an old-fashioned action comedy.
It's interesting that there's a trend, and I appreciate the trend because it's benefiting me, but older dudes are becoming action stars, right?
Yeah.
I mean, Brad Pitt,
Keanu Reeves, Bob Odenkirk.
Keanu Reeves, right? Bob Odenkirk, Liam Neeson, who's older than all those guys, right? Like,
and I think more importantly, actors who weren't known for being action guys. Yeah. Right? So, for example, Sylvester Stallone has always been known for being an action guy. So has Arnold Schwarzenegger. So when they do action movies in their 60s and 70s, we're not surprised. But when you have someone like Bob Odenkirk, a man in his 50s, who's known best primarily for Mr. Show and for being a comic and for being like this witty, snarky lawyer on Breaking Bad, to all of a sudden get super cut and super fit and do an action movie, it's quite the surprise.
Yeah. Even the Avenger, I mean, let's take like Ryan Reynolds, right, as Deadpool. Not in his 20s anymore.
Yeah, but he's still young. He's not, okay, yes, he may not be 30 anymore, but he's still not 50.
For Bullet Train, I will definitely see it on the big screen, although I'm not rushing out to see it on the big screen. Yeah,
I get that. Look, it's a couple things. One, it's rare for me to see an action comedy like this. And two, I'm a huge fan of Brad Pitt. More than anything, I'm really going primarily to see Brad Pitt again on screen. Haven't seen him super actively on screen, certainly not in this kind of a role. So I like that.
What about, Nicolas Cage has a new movie, Jiu-Jitsu. Have you seen this?
I have not, but I have heard of it, yes. Because as you know, I am Nick Cage's number one fan.
Number one fan. You have the tattoo, right?
No, but if I did, it would be Nicolas Cage related somehow.
It would be. Okay.
If you guys have any shows or movies that you think we should watch the trailers of, or that we should be watching to grade, let us know. aloha@filmsandstuffpodcast.com or send us a tweet at F&S Podcast on Twitter.
We love comments and feedback. Don't be shy.
All right, everyone. Thanks a lot.
Pete, thank you for your time. Wishing you a great weekend. Listeners, wishing you a great weekend. We'll be back next week.
Thanks, Ethan. Bye, everyone.
Bye.
Thank you for listening to another episode of Films and Stuff. If you haven't already, please subscribe and review on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or wherever podcasts are downloaded. Films and Stuff. There is no substitute.